The textbook definition of delay is 1. Make someone or something late or slow, or 2. A period of time by which something is late or postponed. And they're kind of the same thing, but whatever. This is your boy Amaziah, and welcome to my video on whether or not Kingdom Hearts 3 has been delayed. Today I'm going to be doing something different from, of course, other people, which is just screaming behind your mic, of course, that Kingdom Hearts 3 has never been delayed. It's never been delayed. There was never some arbitrary number that had to be changed because of some kind of delay. Oh my god. That is not always the case when it comes to a delay of a game. As a matter of fact, I can destroy all of these arguments with one simple argument. If you feel like Kingdom Hearts 3 has never been delayed despite knowing that the engine changed, despite knowing that Tetsuya Nomura stated in 2006 that the next game he wanted to hop onto would be Kingdom Hearts 3, and that of course a Kingdom Hearts 3 would come, although he was pulled along with his team to work on Final Fantasy Versus 13, which is now Final Fantasy 15, then of course you must also say that Final Fantasy 15 just took 10 years to fucking develop. There was never a delay for that game either. It just took 10 years to develop. You know, it took the same amount of time of development that, of course, an MMO the size of GTA 5 times 4, so the map of GTA 5, all of the missions within that one area, take that, multiply it times 4, and then of course have that same amount of content from that one map spread out across 4 different sections of a map of the same size with almost the same amount of fucking content, if not more. Final Fantasy 15 has nowhere near that same level of content. So why the hell did it take 10 years to develop? This is called something like internal delays, and breaking down internal delays versus delays on how they affect us is stupid, because an internal delay will always affect us. Whether or not we get to hear about how it affects us or not, it will always affect us. For instance, due to the fact that Kingdom Hearts 3 had to change engines, I'm pretty sure since we got to see something in 2015 but we didn't get to see something in 2014, the reason why we didn't see shit in 2014 is because of the fact that they had to redo all of the work that they had from Luminos, which was the original engine, which was in conjunction with the Kingdom shader. So with that being the case, then of course what you have is a lot of work that needs to be redone, and this is more than likely why there was that exclusive trailer that was shown off at that fan event that was never released to the public. And the reason for that was because it was an exclusive trailer that no longer properly represented what Kingdom Hearts 3 looks like. That's more than likely why they did it as an exclusive trailer. It was some content that they already had that they could show off to people who made it to that event. However, putting it out there to the public is damn different than putting something out there to, of course, people at an event in which they can state clearly that this stuff is stuff that they've already had, they've been working on for a while, and of course this may not represent the game by the time it releases. So this was probably just an extra trailer that was eventually going to wind up being the E3 2014 trailer. Probably so. So let's go ahead and get into more of an official side of things when it comes to Kingdom Hearts 3. And the first thing we're going to talk about here is Tetsuya Nomura himself stating that Kingdom Hearts 3 was not always planned for the PlayStation 4 or Xbox One. Pause. When he says it wasn't always planned for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, what he means here is that by the time the game was greenlighted to go ahead and be developed, it wasn't going to be put onto the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. The PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. It didn't start off, and then of course they was like, oh well, you know, they always designate a console when you start development, so they didn't go, oh well, you know, the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One are already announced, let's go ahead and put it on there. By the time it was greenlighted, it was going to go to the PlayStation 3. So let's go ahead and get right into the statement itself. So it says, to be honest, it was not. It just so happened that the timing happened to work out in this situation. When the time came that we were ready and able to begin working on Kingdom Hearts 3, the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One had just been introduced. So the best decision for us was to develop Kingdom Hearts 3 for the new consoles. And there you go. The game would have came out on PlayStation 3 and Xbox One. However, the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One were on the way, and with that being the case, they just decided to cut it from that generation, that console generation, and move it to the incoming or pending console generation, which is the generation of the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. So that's still a delay. And what does that mean? If Kingdom Hearts 3 would have started development for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, it potentially could have been released by now. But with them waiting and stuff for the PlayStation 4, the dev kits, and actually waiting until they understood what they were doing with those consoles, of course, it wound up being a delay, as they had to find out how these new consoles work, how these new engines work, how the updated version of Luminos worked, and all of that, and so on and so forth. Plus, of course, bringing over the Kingdom shader to the Unreal Engine after they decided upon bringing the Unreal Engine. But let's go ahead and move to the Unreal Engine in that whole situation once again. So I already stated that when it came to moving engines, that would mean that a whole year of work would have had to been redone. And how do we know a whole year of work had to be redone? Well, if you remember during the E3 2015 trailer, when we got, of course, to the Twilight Town segment, when you see Twilight Town, the sandlot is apparently missing. There's just like this huge glowing area right there instead of course, a path to the sandlot. And the reason for that is more than likely due to the fact that everything that they had done in Luminos couldn't just be pulled from the Luminos engine and dumped into the Unreal 4 engine. They legitimately had to redo Twilight Town. And of course, Tetsuya Nomura has already spoken about how, of course, that engine and the engine swap actually affected timing once again. So to state that it affects timing means that, of course, this is probably why, once again, we didn't see anything in 2016. We didn't see too much in 2017. We saw like 2 trailers, if I'm not mistaken, 2 or 3, which is very reasonable, you know, 2 or 3 trailers. But here in 2018, of course, here we are with the game finna release, and we are still kind of waiting to see some things. And of course, this also means that that first level of development being at 90%, that more than likely would have been at 100%. And if they didn't have to change the engine entirely, then of course it's very logical and reasonable to say that Kingdom Hearts 3 probably would have already been released. So you see how that relationship goes. An internal delay does in fact a delay in our eyes. So what goes on in like the real world, it does affect us as well. An internal delay, breaking it down from an internal delay to an actual official delay, something like a number or some arbitrary number being pushed back, doesn't change the fact that a delay still occurred. Just because we didn't feel anything from that delay besides, of course, the longer wait time, which is still a delay by definition, that doesn't mean that the game wasn't magically not delayed. It was delayed, and the fact that it was delayed is why we didn't see anything in 2014. Is more than likely the reason why that trailer in 2014 that people got to see with, of course, Cable Town and that library that Sora visits, the one that apparently seems to be the same one that Ericus and Xehanort were playing chess in the E3 2015 trailer. The reason for that is because, of course, it more than likely didn't represent what Kingdom Hearts 3 would look like anymore. So they just decided to show something exclusive to people who made it to an event. So that makes a lot of sense when you think about it, and it kind of does give a more logical reason than of course them just doing some random exclusive trailer from some people. So that's going to be all for this topic. I hope that with that I'm able to actually give more people a vivid picture of whether or not the damn game has been delayed, because the game has been delayed on like at least 2 occasions to what we know, when the engine had to change and when of course the game got greenlighted and they weren't able to just start with the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360, but rather they had to wait and put it on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, as they apparently didn't have dev kits for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One by the time those 2 consoles actually got announced. So this has been your boy Amaziah. Don't forget to do a little A-class gaming, and everything you do, don't forget to keep it A-class. I hope to catch you guys in the next one. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if it gave you any informative value, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace the heck out.